Let's see if we can get some more info, as we always do. So the Empress and the Four of Cups. I wonder if you were trying to get pregnant, some of you, and that wasn't happening in January, which perhaps was not the message that you wanted to hear. Because with the Empress upright is normally the pregnancy card, and it being reverse with the Four of Cups card on top of it, this energy signifies not receiving the emotional abundance that you desire. Maybe it coming in a different way, but you wanting it to happen a certain way and being stuck on your ideas of how you wanted this situation to arise. Or perhaps if it's not about a pregnancy in a relationship. Let's see. When I get quiet, I listen to my guides and my angels. Yeah, so maybe in your current relationship, it not feeling the way that you wanted it to. There's some type of disappointment in your current partnership on a certain level, and it couldn't necessarily all be bad. Perhaps there's just one area of the relationship that you and your partner are finding you're having a sticking point on, perhaps around finances, and the way that they're communicating was annoying you, and in their brashness and perhaps their forcefulness was making you feel isolated and alone and not within the support that you would ultimately desire from a solid partnership around shared finances. Maybe there were some arguments to do with shared finances of how to spend your money and where to allocate your resources. Let's see what these cards have to share with the Fool and the Three of Wands on top of it in reverse, both in reverse. So maybe one of you was in your mind planning on this fabulous trip. Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm not sure why I'm laughing. It's just like somebody planning in their head and not sharing with their partner such a big idea. And then when it comes down to it, you're sharing with them, and it immediately turns into a fight because it's like, what are you doing with that $3,000? You want to go where? And it not coming to fruition and being like, oh crap. I really wanted to take this trip, and now I have to consider this other person, and just being a little frustrated about it. So that would be for people in coupled situations. I'm curious to hear comments, to read your comments below and chime in if any of that sticks out for you. This isn't going to be, it's not going to resonate for everybody, this being a general reading for all Tauruses. And so this is the past energy coming out of January. So for singles, I wonder, this air sign person that you were hoping to get a message from, or perhaps you did and it was not in the style that you were hoping to receive it. There could have been some emotional disappointment around that if you wanted to reconnect with somebody. And it being a little bit of a stab and something that you needed to work through to maybe in a sense grieve over that. Okay, well, we're not moving forward into these plans that I had in my head of leaping into a possible relationship with one another. Yeah, so I want to flip over these cards and see where this is leading to for the month of February. So the Two of Pentacles in reverse, the Lovers, no, sorry, the Two of Cups. Reminds me of the Lovers card upright, and the Ace of Wands. Okie doke. Let's get some clarifiers. All right, so you have the Hermit, the King of Cups, and also the Death card. So I want to start here with the Death card on the Ace of Wands. New inspirations in your love life coming in February are going to feel like mini transformations, which I think is great. So perhaps single people and couple people taking these new ideas or thoughts of inspired actions on new directions that you can be going in. Perhaps reigniting something from the past. And I'm not talking about this situation. I feel like in January you've processed that and have grieved it and let it go, which opens up the space for something new to come in. And with the Two of Cups coming in February with the King of Cups in reverse. So maybe there's going to be a new offer of love, Taurus, from a water sign male. And it's going to be interesting because they're going to be of a very different flavor than this air sign that you were processing. And so I wonder if this person coming in February has had and dealt with an old alcohol problem. Maybe he's gone through rehab and he's turned his life around and is now on a good path to be able to connect with people in a healthy way and in a giving and receiving relationship, because the cups are up and this is an open possibility of somebody offering their heart to you, Taurus, and you being open and willing to receive what they have to offer, and it being a good match, and perhaps taking the time to understand their story and not be too quick to judge the transformations that they've underwent and the hardships, because that's what makes people who they are and lends them the character traits that hopefully when somebody deals with their issues in an honest fashion and in an upfront way, with loyalty to themselves, ultimately, first and foremost, because I see the Hermit here, and this could be you or them, but I see it more of their energy, that they've found their inner light again. And it's been outside of partnerships. So I know I'm talking a lot about singles. And they're not so topsy-turvy about what they're looking for, but now they have 2 feet on the ground and can offer you something magical and inspiring and fun and passionate, which could give you a little bit of a mini break out of your routine, which I feel coming out of January would be welcome. And let's see, for coupled Taurians. So I see you getting over this squabble over your shared finances and maybe taking some time out to contemplate what was really at the root of that argument, or us not seeing eye to eye on this money issue, and each of you taking ownership. And ultimately you're responsible for your own perspective and what you bring to the table and the way that you communicate. And I see in February that you're going to be taking some time to see clearly and take ownership of how you contributed to this. Whether if it was you that was sort of like secretly planning and not involving your partner in these plans to spend the money. Not sure why that keeps coming up, but it does. And yeah, you sort of swallowing your pride a little bit and not being on your emotional high horse, but coming back into the partnership humble and wanting to make a truce with your partner, because time can be short, Taurus. This can also, actually, I just got that, be representative of the Taurian energy, where there are possibilities around and sort of set in your ways here, looking at these 3 stable cups, and there's some new energy or a new possibility of emoting or exploring in your partnership that in January you weren't willing to look at, but I see that turning around in the month of February for you. So I'm going to move on to the energies that will be carrying you out of the month of February. So you have the 7 of Cups in reverse, the Sun, and the Knight of Wands in reverse. So you have the Matriarch in reverse. That's a special card. I'm using to this deck the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, the Centennial Edition. It's a really fun deck. The cards are a little bit smaller and they travel great with me. So the 9 of Wands in reverse on the Sun, and the 4 of Swords on the Knight of Wands. Let's start here with the Matriarch card and the 7 of Cups reverse. So again, when I get quiet, I'm listening. So getting back to the pregnancy possibility, I feel like you're going to come to the realization, if you are in a coupled situation or single and looking to have a baby, that you're going to get clear towards the end of February on your options and what feels best for you in the way of approaching that desire, and what you can live with, and in order to create this energy of a happy, healthy, comfortable home and your legacy. So really getting clear on whether or not maybe you're at a crossroads, Taurus, of feeling like you need to decide if you're going to start a family or not, or just work on your career and that be your creative effort in the world. So I see that being a consideration for you, perhaps with the eclipse energy that's going to be running throughout February. That could bring up those conversations in your partnerships. And also for singles who are dating, I know a lot of times on online profiles, it asks you if you would be okay dating somebody who already has children, or do you want them to have no children? And that being, you're going to be getting clear on that. What sort of home life within your love relationship that you would like to create. Because here's the baby again. So I'm picking up on this baby energy. Baby. And the Nine of Wands in reverse. So let's see. So I feel like, Taurus, you're going to be more open about having conversations around these desires of motherhood, of fatherhood, of parenting, of creating a family, of not wanting to create a family, and really feeling like you don't have to be coming from a defensive position anymore on the subject, but just out of your own solid truth. And this is how it is residing for you, and owning that and not being apologetic for it. And so if you're coupled and one of you all of a sudden is getting baby fever, either partner, having conversations around what that entails for your relationship and moving into the future. And you also have the Knight of Wands in reverse with the Four of Swords in reverse. So making sure, again, in these conversations of your desire, and this could also represent a project that you want to endeavor together, and it doesn't necessarily have to be children related. But I know that's been coming through very strongly in the reading of watching in the way that you communicate. And I think this is a follow through from the month of January that you're going to be moving into March with. Maybe there's going to be a moving on of one of you to find a partner more suitable to your desires. And this is a card of waiting and resting and meditation, and in reverse it's action, and this is the card of action. So in reverse with it, I see him sort of pulling him out of the despondency or the indecision as to where you want your current partnership to go. And perhaps that's within your partnership, and you're deciding together through these conversations, you're finally able to get a firm foothold on, yes, we are going to continue trying for a family, or no, we're going to divert our efforts in this way and possibly put our creative passions into a different area of life. Maybe it's just for the time being, and putting it to rest and seeing where that takes you